Welcome back to HubSpot Hacks by SimpleStat, your go-to channel for practical HubSpot tips, tricks, and tutorials. If you're a HubSpot admin, this is the place for you. Now, the year has just started and 2026 has been full of HubSpot updates. So I've decided to put together a series where I'm going to go over my favorite top picks of recent updates that have come out. All right, well, let's dive right in and get to these updates. I'm going through 8 of my favorite updates this month. So we are diving in to talk about some updates to the social area. So obviously you're watching me on YouTube right now, so that is a big channel for us and a great way for us to interact with you guys. So there is a whole new section. If you go to your reply and you have your channel connected, of course, then you are actually able to see your YouTube comments live in your portal and reply right back to them now. So that is really exciting, something I know that our team has been wanting for forever, and they're really excited to be able to go in and help answer some of those comments so that I'm not logging in constantly trying to figure out how do I keep up with all of this. So I'm just going to filter out here and show you guys just the YouTube. I'll go ahead and uncheck all of our other accounts here. So we've got our YouTube HubSpot Hacks channel. And there we go. Now I can see all of our comments directly in here, reply without even having to go into the actual YouTube studio or anything like that. Can reply directly right here. But I can also even assign a CRM contact. So if I did actually see someone's name here that I recognized and I knew who they were, I'd actually be able to go ahead and assign that directly to the correct contact here by just searching for their name. So I know I don't probably not have this guy in here, but we'll search for him anyway, just in case. Let's see. All right, no, we don't. So any other contact though, we'll just pretend it's me. There we go. So if that was me, which there's several versions of me as a contact record in here. So if that was me, I would be able to go ahead and assign this to my contact. And now this kind of an extra layer of tracking that I would have within the CRM and my YouTube channel as well to actually see that we do have these users in our system. So really cool, great new way to be able to streamline how you're applying to your comments, especially if you are sharing a big team. You get a lot of interactions. Now everyone can jump in and help make sure that you get those responses out there. The next one I want to talk about is definitely something for my admins out here. I know that as someone who helps manage, I don't know, anywhere between 10 to 20 clients at any given time, I have a lot of trouble and I'll spend a lot of time trying to find out everywhere I need to go make updates when and if a person leaves the company and now we have a replacement for them. So when we come in HubSpot now and we go to our users and teams, we can actually see everywhere that user is being used essentially. So any workflows, contacts that they own, companies that they own, everything like that. And it's going to make that transition and offboarding so much easier, and obviously onboarding your new person as well to be able to give them that replacement so quick. So if we go into our users here, I think we have a couple that are not real users. So I'm going to find one of those. Let's see, we've got a couple versions of Will here. So we're going to go ahead and click on him. So now on any of our users, we can scroll on down to the bottom and actually see where they're being used. So we've got a meeting that we would need to, or meeting link that we would need to make sure gets disabled. And then we have our workflow configurations as well. So we would also see here list of, again, contact ownership, company ownership, tickets, deals, anything like that that the user is assigned. We would also be able to see all of that here under this user's records and assets. So now we can go ahead and actually look at the two workflows that we have configured for our duplicate of Will. So now we can easily go ahead and use kind of almost like a find and replace, like you would in like Excel or something, and be able to replace this Will with, let's see, me in this case. And then there we go. Now we can go ahead and just set that. It'll go ahead and update the workflow where this looks like we are rotating some lead assignment and then sending some internal email communications. Those would go ahead and be replaced with me with a click of a button. So no more spending hours trying to go through your 600 workflows or having to manually either create new workflows or manually go bulk update all the contacts or companies or deals that were already assigned. Now, with a couple clicks of a button, you'll have those updates made for you. So HubSpot admins, lets us rejoice. So another thing for our admins here, or anyone that works a lot with workflows and building out automations, especially things like nurture campaigns and drips, funnels, you probably have been wanting to be able to delay by business days, and now we finally have it. It only took until 2026, but hey, it is here and we are excited and we are going to be using the heck out of it. So now when you add your time delays in a workflow, so I've just got a basic kind of drip email sequence here. When we are adding in these delays, we are now going to have just a nice quick little toggle here to make this checkbox so that these execute only on our business days. So long gone or is the time that we're trying to, estimate count of days and make sure we enroll everyone on the exact same day. We're even having to use the settings to only run the workflows, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 or anything like that. Now we can truly use this customization here to just go ahead and delay by business days and know that our weekends are going to be skipped. Of course, this won't take into account any holidays, so you still might need to add some parameters there if you have campaigns going around specific holidays that you want to avoid for any reason, but we don't have to do mental math and calculations anymore on how many days we should delay. All right, for our next update, so we are in a brand new year, so you are either already kind of getting started on setting up some goals, or maybe you're still editing your goals and figuring out exactly what some of your targets are going to be for 2026. Well, now we've got some new ways that we can actually use our goals and quick ways to create our goal reports as well. So if we come into our goals section here in HubSpot, go to create goals from template, you'll actually see we've got more templates than before to be able to go ahead and create some new things. So we always had things, of course, like revenue, things related to lifecycle stage, ticket closing, but we do have new ones here. So we've got some leads created, notes or activities. I believe we already had calls. We've got tasks. So we've just got a lot more templates available for us to be able to set up our goals and be really specific this year with what we're trying to measure and what we want to make sure our team is being in compliance and using the tools we've invested in. So let's go ahead and go back to the one I have set up here. So I created a goal for us already for some activities. So let me pull that up here. We've got our 2026 activity goals. I've already got this set up for us. So now that we've got our 2026 activities goals created, already got that start date, end date, monthly cadence, and added all the users, applied our filters and goals like now, we can actually take a look at some of the pre-built reports that these goals are now going to come with. So you may have seen the gauge reports and maybe not done much with them, but I think these are kind of cool. Kind of replaces the mentality of that old school kind of thermometer tracking. So we've got a little gauge here. It kind of works very similar. So as we progress to that goal, we're going to start to see our bar here populate, and those colors will cascade through our gauge, showing how close we are getting to our ultimate goal here. It looks like a 480. We've also got a line graph option, so we are holding steady so far with our goal and 0 activities tracked. But of course, month by month, you'll be able to see those peaks and valleys and how we're hitting those goals. And then you also get a leaderboard, which I think is what most people are probably going to be going for to be able to keep their team active and wanting to use it, because everyone's going to want to be that one at the top here and be able to see that they have the biggest bar compared to their peers. So I think that leaderboard is going to be getting a lot of love and attention in 2026. Then you've got just some metrics here so that you know exactly how many users are in your goal, who's achieving that goal, and how many have missed as well. So some really nice reporting here straight out of the box, right within our goals. We can easily deploy once we've set that up. All right, next one might be my favorite. I don't know. These are all my favorite. That's the whole purpose of this series. But one of my favorites, I guess I will say, is finally our conditional logic will now apply for lifecycle stage. I can't tell you how many times this has been requested by, honestly, probably every client I've ever worked with. in the last 7 years has wanted this. So being able to make sure we have specific required properties based on our life cycle stage has been a need, and our prayers have finally been answered by HubSpot here. So we can go ahead and get that set up. So depending on if you are creating contacts a lot in the CRM, maybe you want to do that directly in the creation form when you're creating new contacts. So we'll go ahead and open up our editor for that. All right, and so now we're going to go ahead and add in our life cycle stage. And then we're going to go ahead and add our conditional logic here, and we're going to add in some new logic. So now we can use that life cycle stage. And let's say for our customers, we always want to make sure we are entering something like a customer status. So making sure they're being labeled as like an active customer versus inactive in this case. So we've got a little drop down here that they would choose from. And then let's say we also want to make sure we have them assigned to whoever their contact owner is going to be, or if you're going to have several types of ownership set up, maybe you have a contact owner and account executive in this case, but most people are probably going to have something like a customer service manager, CSM, or something like that they use. But we'll just go ahead and use account executive in place for that today. But now we can require these lovely properties so that we are never missing out on those data points that we need to, especially for things that's as important as a customer base, or maybe for your leads, making sure you always have your lead source, or maybe you want to ask questions about how did you hear about us, things like that we just haven't been able to require going forward. Now we'll be able to make sure when our team is entering in these new contacts, we are getting all of the information that we need. All right, another time-saving one I want to jump into is going to be in our segments. So with segments, we've got our two types. We have our active segments and our static segments. So active meaning we built a list criteria and we have our different filters, and as long as someone meets that criteria, they get added to the list. If properties change, they will fall off that list. But our static list is only a snapshot in time. So whatever filters we ran at this day and this time when we clicked save, that is it. That is our list. Nothing else is going to be added or removed unless we manually go in and update that list, but the system itself is not going to update this list going forward. So this was challenging at times, depending on if we didn't have all the information we needed initially to set up some of our criteria, and we had to kind of go through multiple iterations. We couldn't just edit that segment. We basically had to start over all again, or clone it and then add to it, and you just kept having to make new versions essentially of your same list over and over again. So now we actually have the ability to, within our segments that are static, actually go back and edit these filters. So just kind of showing you the example here. We can now go ahead and take that static segment, re-edit it, and apply new filters here. So let's say for my fictional characters, I had my cast of Gilmore Girls, but I also want to now add my One Tree Hill contacts as well. If you can't tell, those are two of my favorite shows to rewatch. So I've added all my characters in here to use as my test dummy data. All right, and now I can resave, and I don't have to go through the process of cloning, reconfiguring, or starting from scratch every time I need to make an edit to my static segment. I'll have that here. And if you've seen Will's latest video about segments as well, he goes into being able to see the performance and changes and things like that about the segments too. So we've got a lot of updates when it comes to segments and being able to use these in a more dynamic fashion. All right, so then last but certainly not least, we have one more update for us on the subject of lifecycle stages and some of the default things that HubSpot typically tracks for us. So if you've been around HubSpot for a while, you know that we recently had a transition, I guess it was sometime last year, of having our lifecycle stage properties be date stamped for when they enter and when they exit a lifecycle stage. So for every contact, when they became a lead, we could see exactly when that day was and the day that they became a marketing qualified lead, and then we could do some math and calculations if we wanted to see how long do people stay within certain life cycle stages. So we could always see that on the contact record. We couldn't see that for our companies, And depending on the type of organization you have, how you like to report on your volume of leads, if you like to count individual people, or if you look more at the account level and want to know what unique new companies have entered the CRM and what leads you have that way. We didn't have that same level of reporting and access for our companies. So now HubSpot has ruled out for us to have those properties, those same properties by default that we would have on the contact level. So I'm just popping over now into the company properties section, and we're going to see we have all of those same options for our date entered and date exited for all of our life cycle stages. So if you have reporting or metrics regarding, again, the companies and the new accounts that are being added versus obviously the new contacts, because you could have 100 contacts all from the same company, then that kind of inflates your number sometimes as far as the number of leads that you've brought in if you want to distinctly count companies, or even counting, like I said, some of those calculations for time spent in each of those stages. We can now do that at the company level as well to really dive in and see how you guys are being able to work this new business angles. All right, guys, there you have it. Those are my top 8 picks for our HubSpot updates of January 2026. I hope you enjoyed it. I've had a lot of fun coming up with my top suggestions, and I look forward to making the next one and keeping you guys up to date with what's going on with HubSpot. I know as a HubSpot admin, it is so much. It's a full-time job, literally, just to keep up with all of the new things that are being rolled out and figuring out which things can you move on quickly and which projects are going to take a long time. So being able to bring you guys just some quick little rapid fire updates, I think is going to be helpful. So I would love to get your feedback. Let me know if you like the idea of this new series. Drop a comment down below. Or if you want to see some longer form videos and you have some suggested topics that you would love a deeper dive into, definitely let me know. But I hope to see you around in the next one.